Everybody, last we left off in our Ventia campaign, the individual, or a few individuals, went to that dragon's shrine, and the Dragon Queen's shrine specifically, and the continuation of that, or the outcome, came where everyone was talking to this guardian who was inside there. And while people were conversing and touching the urn of the previous Red Dragon Queen, the one of the party members had a brilliant idea for his wish spell he acquired 2 games ago, and decided to walk outside the door. While strange reactions was happening to other people inside the party, other reactions were happening to people in the party, the individual known as Nereld, I believe, wished for a man who he had a vision of shortly before to be placed in front of him with his best health, if I'm not mistaken, and untrapped, basically, was the response. There was not a lot to that, but specifically it was
exactly
in health, in front of you, and not basically pursued, which is kind of what happened. Or at least nothing else would come with him, only him, was what I meant. So, the last thing he said was, I believe, "This is another trick."
Actually, it was closer to another trick.
Same principle.
It's basically the exact same thing.
Well, one's a statement to someone, and the other's not.
We are now starting back up. So, your response.
Right, I actually already gave my response during the last time. I believe it was of a sort.
Oh, yes.
You said this was a trick, and I said of a sort.
That was the end, yeah.
Well. Now what do I do? I didn't think this far ahead.
This guy's just breathing.
You could do whatever you plan to do, for I've done what I believe I needed to for the situation I was in. Now, if you'd excuse me, I have some people to talk to, and then I must leave. I walk and go back into the temple.
He looks very confused as you walk away. Just observing the surroundings.
As I walk into the temple. Alright, guys. We ready to go? I believe we've gotten everything we needed to learn. Or is there something else that's keeping you all here?
Sure.
I don't think there's anything pressing keeping us here. These guys walked off.
Is there?
Oh, yes.
Is there anything pressing to make us leave?
Yes.
On that note, who has the highest perception? I would like to be more like a perception of
Not me. That's
13
for
for passive perception. Is it, who has a
I
buffer?
have 14.
I have 13.
13.
I have. Whenever my page will actually load. It's loading pandemonium. Passive perception?
Yeah.
Yep.
12 from Ardane and... One moment. 13 for Gaius.
Alright, so Maldane doesn't hear this. What was your passive perception, my dear Daniel?
He has a 12.
12.
He doesn't hear it either. There's a faint, large roar, and from, I would say, the northeast area. And then everyone starts hearing it as a chain reaction of roars, like they're talking and it's echoing through the mountains.
It's time to go.
You see, now there's a pressing issue that makes us want to leave.
There's a very pressing issue.
People,
Over
the carpet.
Okay, one second. Does anyone
perhaps
speak
we should
Draconic?
In
Draconic?
fact, Gaius does.
So it's hard 100% to hear what they're saying because they're kind of screaming it and echoing, but the gist that you're kind of getting is a prisoner has escaped, top priority, capture alive.
Gotcha.
And detain anything suspicious.
We gotta go now!
That's what I'm saying.
This is over at the carpet. It's ready to drive as soon as everyone gets on.
I am on
I'm
the
on
carpet.
the carpet.
Ardane's on the carpet as
On
well.
the carpet too.
We are apparently all on the carpet.
Are we?
So you guys
Who's that?
start flying out, and he is
That's
now.
going out.
So you just see this man who is at the
I
moment
think-
drawing massive runes inside,
Who's that?
like on the stones, and runes in the air as it's just flying around him. Is he making what looks to be a large box?
Who's? Anyone know who that is?
Oh, yes, I know exactly who that is.
What did you do?
What do you mean?
Wait, whoa, wait, stop. Your main character, Nathaniel, his name is Gaius.
Gaius.
Would recognize him immediately because he was a prominent figure
Yes, you're right.
in the
You're right.
Imperium, and
You're right.
you were part of the Executor's chain
Yeah.
while you were raised. So it is
Yeah.
obvious who that guy is. He's a missing High Executor who's been missing for like
Correct me. What's his name again?
Cassius Valarius.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but does that look like Cassius Valarius?
Oh, you're not wrong. That's exactly Cassius Valarius.
Okay, now what is he doing here?
That is a good question. That is a
So,
very good question. I
Gaius,
actually don't
you
technically-
hear
I only
the
partially
description
know that.
now coming from the dragons of who they're trying to secure.
Gotcha. So, I'm assuming it describes
It does.
Mhm.
Cassius very, yeah,
Very
okay.
vividly.
Oh.
He is the escaped prisoner.
Out of curiosity, what are you doing with those runes?
Dungeon Master.
Yes.
Would Daniel know what this guy looks like from just having read
Read history.
stuff?
Roll history.
Oh dear.
Would Larissa
That's
know?
for him.
all?
What was your
My history
roll
is a
history?
+6, so it's a 13.
Okay.
I would have said that wasn't high enough for Daniel, but at the same
19.
time, this guy is one of the last 4 high executors of the Imperium. His face is printed.
Rather recognizable.
Yeah, at least for the last few years. So if you were alive anytime when he was around, which you were, I would say yes, you are both aware of who that is. Now, to the extent is the significance of why he's here not as odd, because they kind of brushed his disappearance under the radar.
So the dragons are after
Under the
him.
rug. Swept it under the rug.
Yep.
The
Wonderful.
dragons are after him.
The dragons are after him.
Him.
Oh, that's great. But once again, what are you doing with the runes? What are they for?
He's
Yeah,
clearly
exactly.
ignoring you.
Wouldn't you like to know, Dragon Sympathizer?
Dragon sympathizer. Never been called that before.
What's wrong about sympathizing with dragons?
They're monsters.
They're about to eat us?
You slapped Daniel?
Probably.
I give him a chop.
Oh, on the head?
Well, they're probably about to kill us for releasing their prisoner, so...
You didn't want to consult the group about this before you did it?
It was kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing.
Oh.
I admit I didn't think it through very well.
You know, if you're going to free a high executor from a dragon prison...
I didn't know he was a high executor.
How?
All right.
What I saw.
Okay,
I had nothing to do
so-
with what he looked like.
So he turns and looks at you and goes, "I'm starting to get the gist. You're not dragon sympathizers."
No!
Not
Very
exactly, no.
clearly not.
Always haven't been.
I see. I have
So you might tell
many
us what the reason for?
question of how exactly you
At
managed
the moment,
to
I
get
don't
me
think right now is a
out
great
of
time
the prison
to ask
and
questions.
I
remarkably
think run first, answer questions later.
healed, but we are pressed for time. So
Yes.
please step into the impenetrable barrier spell, please.
And I fly the carpet in.
Right. And he finished doing his rune work.
Oh. So good. Wonder when they'll realize they got disconnected. Gotta love it, right?
All right. As soon as you enter the spell, it activates because he finishes his runes, and a large purplish arcane box forms. Then he starts immediately to scribble something on the floor.
And what does this one do?
Well, Daniel recognizes a teleportation circle beginning pretty quickly. He can't do it himself, but he knows
What
what
one
it
looks
is.
like.
Yes. Actually, I'd say most of the magic users would know.
Who hasn't seen one of these in their day?
I'm pretty sure that's literally just me and Daniel.
I haven't seen one of those in my day.
Oh, yeah.
It's a teleportation room. It's a teleportation circle, I mean.
Ah, fascinating.
Interesting.
And I would say,
So where
actually,
is this
the-
one
Good
going to
escape.
take us?
it is going to take us where I want it to take us.
And
Right,
that
where's
would
that?
be
Away from the mountains.
clearly.
Can you get an exact location?
Why?
I have a great place we should go. I have a secure tower that most people don't exactly know. access to.
There's one problem with that. I
You don't
don't
know where the tower
trust
is?
you.
Oh, good point. Fair enough. But who do you trust? Can you truly trust
No one.
anybody if you
A
got captured so easily?
very select few.
Well, nice to meet you. I'm Gaius Victus Regimon II.
Your father is not one of them.
Well, I don't work for him.
Who do you work for?
Yeah, who do you work for? That's a good question. I know my answer. I work for myself.
You have apprentice
own interests.
robes. So who do you work for? Or train under?
See, that's better, because I don't work for him. I choose to do what I choose is best for my own path. I could leave it at any time.
Right. And
Right.
He says that. I can't remember the
I can always play.
executive's name.
Thorax.
Yes.
It is
Okay.
thorax.
That would be Thorax.
You do.
Inquisitor thorax? The hated one?
Isn't it? I thought it was. Is it in High Executor now?
No. It
No,
is
it's just
Executor.
Inquisitor?
No, it's Executor.
Oh, it's just Executor.
It's
okay.
Executor, Thorax.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a promotion, but at the
The
same
hated
time,
one. That's an interesting.
you work under the hated one.
Apparently.
Well, that's interesting. And how is the weirdo doing?
Since when was he referred to as the hated one? I didn't know this.
Wait, would I know that?
When it started, when he was that title, no, that's something only the higher people would know. So maybe Gaius, but he'd have to roll a history check of why he's considered the hated one.
I'm gonna roll that. History for Gaius would be 2. So that's a 22 with a natural 20.
So he's considered the hated one because he rose to power in 5 years after his high executor died, and he went from being a simple hand to a executor or inquisitor, specifically the head inquisitor at one point, where he had murdered 4 executors for the Empyrean with no hesitation. He
Wouldn't
rose.
that be killed?
It would
Depends
be executed.
on who you ask.
Who you ask, yeah.
Your father stated it was
Murder.
murder.
Gotcha, killed.
And,
Executed, to be precise.
yes, and he has had dealings with black market scum, assassins, not reputable sources. He
The
has
unreputable folk.
There could be
Yes, very.
absolutely reputable
That was a nice word to
assassins,
use
okay?
for people below you.
He is, however, since he's taken his executor office 1 year ago, he has not done anything ungovernmentally like.
Unsavory.
Unsavory.
Yeah. Well, no, specifically government. He has been keeping his position as a politician in
But
high.
assassins are very much in the government.
Not in
Hi.
public personas. So, he's considered the hated one for how he rose to power. And during the time when he would be lost High Executor Cassius, he was one of the highest inquisitors there was, and it was considered someone who could, maybe with a little help, kill some of the high executors even.
Okay. Yes, that would be the person. He is
Right.
slightly changed. Slightly.
Aha.
Let's just say he doesn't do things nearly as openly. I can't say he doesn't do them, but he doesn't do them as openly.
I see. And who does he work for now?
That is a good question.
I should have asked that.
All I can say is he's looking into Tiberius'
What are you doing?
backstory.
What are you doing?
Who?
Who
Which-
do you think I'm talking about?
Gaius?
Yes.
Oh, he's telling him the answers to the questions?
You say you work for him, and yet you're just giving out his secrets.
Hey, it's not in my contract to keep his secrets.
Fair enough.
Interesting. You're telling me he's looking in to our misforgotten prince. I see.
Prince?
I have not acknowledged him as Empyrean, and I have no intention to do so.
Hmm.
So, we'll be off now. Don't leave the circle. And as that happens, each of you start feeling as your feet begin to lift. As the air itself seems to stop and move a little.
We're lifting off the carpet.
We're lifting off the carpet.
Yes,
Yes.
that is exactly what's happening. And
Can I grab a hold of the
one
carpet?
by one, the carpet went first.
Oh. Okay, that's fine then.
And then you all
Yeah,
feel
we kind of
this motion,
first and fell.
this motion of weightlessness and black void and nothingness, and then into the world on solid ground with a carpet rolled up, leaning on you, Nereld.
I see.
In a dark obsidian chamber, which seems to have a large opening to like exit a mountain. You know, a good description would be like a hangar, but not, because it's not actually meant for takeoff and stuff for planes. But
Right.
that
It's just
kind
an
of opening in the
overlook that's
mountain.
inside the mountain.
Yeah.
Yes,
Where are we?
In a mountain.
One of my many towers. And he starts proceeding to go down opens the door and goes down a set of stairs.
I want to go over to the part that you can see that goes on the outside of the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So I look down,
Uh-huh.
look up.
Okay.
Do I see any tower?
Yes. There is a tower.
In the tower or under the tower?
You're in the
In the
tower,
tower.
and there is a
Daniel just said that
a pyre. If that's what you're asking, a tower-like.
Shooting out.
Yes, from the mountain that you seem to be
Right,
in.
so I'm going
Okay,
to follow the High Executor.
Okay.
Mardane follows the High Executor.
Mm-hmm.
I'll follow the High Executor as well.
Now, how far up are we?
When you're looking down, roll intelligence.
That's a 19.
You would think very high up. No, I'm kidding. Maybe between 14 to 20 kilometers, somewhere around there. It's a lot. You're really high up.
I'm just going to assume that magic is making it so we can breathe fine.
I assume magic is why you could be fine.
Yes.
Kilometers is quite high.
I know. I said it for a reason. You've actually, based on the area, you think you're somewhere in the Dragon Mountains.
Joy. I don't hear any dragons, right?
Oh, you do. You hear them in the distance. You'd say they are south.
Okay.
And the dragons that you hear over here, because there's a few, speak more elegantly, I would say, and orderly in their defend the border and don't allow those chaotic idiots through. They're panicking for some
Gotcha.
reason. So
Gotcha.
there's very little dragons because the roar they make is like reports, and you get this gist that they are expecting an attack.
Okay. Well, then I'm gonna go where the executor went.
So the other party members who were not observing the scenery continue down this
Getting
set
a bearing on the situation, thank you.
are continuously going down the winding staircase, and has portraits of people. These people have names under them, but they all have the Valarius name. This mage family is apparently been alive for a long time, as you can see name after name after name after name going down these stairs. And the obsidian turns to a lighter, more ethereal looking stone, which is kind of a stark contrast to its higher portions of the tower as you go further down. And you're passing doors, but he does not open them. And you can choose to open them, but you feel like that might be invading someone's privacy.
I choose to open them.
You just do this, you're like, open, 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 So, you open the first one, and it's like a small, like maybe alchemy chamber, and you just leave it open or you close it?
Leave it open, don't really care.
Mardine's behind him. Mardine's behind him.
Closing the door. This is hilarious. It's a cartoon. Huh? Boom. Huh? Boom. So, you go through door. Not interested. Not interested. Oh, library. Mardane pushes you away. Close the door.
Yep.
And you open. There's just one door that has this ominous looking thing on it. Do you still open it?
Yes, that's the
so
most
you open it and you instantly get assaulted by putrid, awful smell as this wind goes and blows your hair back as the smell comes through. And
Mardane pushes him aside and shuts the door.
This is new and weird.
You should stop opening random doors. They stink.
Yeah, you really shouldn't have. Don't into that one. That one has my kraken. And he continues going.
You have a kraken?
You need all sorts of things to test your magical limits on. And he keeps going down.
Interesting. Never thought of a kraken before.
Well,
This is why I use a spear. This is why I use a spear and a shield. Not complicated.
No.
This is why I'm more of a healer than a fighter.
You hear him as he keeps ascending, and he exclaims, "I have a deal with him, for he protects my most valuable things." And he keeps going.
What are your most valuable things?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I would like to know.
You know, you got to be a bit more sneaky. You can't just be so blunt. They'll never tell you.
What, are you trying to steal something from him?
No. Fine, I'll choose a different term of word. You need to be more diplomatic. Being so blunt will make them only refuse you.
Word subtle.
I refuse anyone who seems to be sketchy and or political in their plans to steal my stuff. As he continues down. And he then opens a chamber to what you think is a ground.
I'm very confused at this accusation.
Well, one, he thought you were thought you were too curious, and then the other guy made it sound like you need to use political maneuvers to get to know what it is, which he was accusing him of trying to steal.
Oh.
So, he opens this room to what you think is the ground floor that has multiple different doors, and which is odd because it was definitely not 20 kilometers worth of stairs, obviously.
Well, we didn't know that. Guys hasn't caught up to us.
True. And he then gestures to a table that seems to be well furnished, and everything here is not dusty for someone who should be dead. Regway, stop doing that.
Was he actually stated as dead?
Missing was actually what it was.
It was missing. Presumed
But
dead.
for how long is the question?
3 years.
Yeah, this place should have some accumulated dust after 3 years.
Well, you think he cleans it himself?
No, you'd have familiars and servants like Rat Boy.
Yeah,
Why are you so rude to him?
that boy.
Why are you so rude to him?
You're so abusive.
So,
His name is Torx.
he takes a seat at the head of the table. Now, what do I do with all of you?
Personally, I would like to go back.
Well, considering my horse is still in Bethor, I would prefer to head back there as soon as possible.
Yeah, what he said.
How do
This
I
has
not
become
know
too
you will...
political for me.
How do I not know you will betray me?
You have got to be joking.
Does anyone know that for sure?
As far as I'm concerned, I have no idea where we are, so you could just teleport me to Bethor, and I'll be on my way.
You would be moments away from the capital with my political enemies.
Which I don't know who they are, so...
As I said before, this has become too political for my tastes.
Right. And the more he talks or basically stares at Nareld, he is definitely interested in something. Because he is definitely staring at you in an inquisitive way.
You know it's impolite to stare, right?
Only to the weak-minded.
That's actually not entirely true. There are some regions where it's actually very polite to stare.
Oh. So,
Is there something you want us to do to prove we're not going to betray you? I'm unlikely to ignore your existence.
I think I have a solution. And he goes to the back to the back of the room and opens the door.
There's a table, right? Like,
Yeah, we're
you're
sitting
at
like
the
a
table.
Yeah.
any drink, food?
There's food
Okay.
and drink.
Okay.
And he comes out with 5 bracelets.
There is no way in hell I'm putting that on.
Now that's just truly rude. This bracelet will stop you from speaking of my retrieval. And that's all it does.
Yes, but you see, as you don't trust us, we
How
don't
are we
trust
supposed to
you.
trust you?
That's not how the Imperium works. I'm a high executor. You're plebeians. You do as I command.
You know.
Unless directly...
Being from
unless-
the Imperium.
What did he say? Say that again? I didn't actually hear what he said.
It says that the convenient thing about not being from the Imperium.
Right, I forgot. This one's from a card.
Right. If you're not willing to put on the wristbands, then I will have to find another way to prove your sincerity.
Okay. I'm assuming at this point Gaius has gotten down here.
Yes. Yeah, he has.
I'm open to hear more of your suggestions as long as it doesn't...
I will enter your mind
actually
and
Just
see
like
how
that one left.
and see who is trustworthy.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen either.
Yeah, I like that one much less as well.
Ah, then the bands.
I don't like that either.
I disagree with both
These
options.
bands only restrict you when talking about me.
And how am I supposed to know that that's the truth?
Because I'm being honest.
Yes,
And
but
we're being
we
honest
don't
that
trust you.
we are not going to
There's
tell
such a
anybody
thing
about
as
your
insight
freedom.
checks, you pieces of garbage. Like, you can't just assume he's not being honest without at least trying
Whoa.
to check first based on...
Who said I was assuming he's not being honest?
Well, I know,
I
I'm
don't
just
care
saying.
that he's honest. What if I think the whole concept is
Exactly.
awful?
Exactly. What
It
he
is
said.
that I don't trust that they do what he says they do. I
Uh,
don't like being restricted in any way,
As a believer,
especially by a high executor.
as
Yeah,
a
but
believer of
it's not like
freedom
he's
of
at-
knowledge, This is disgusting,
It's-
Daniel.
except he's only restricting that he's alive and free.
Right. You see, but my character
still
has
a
serious problems
restriction.
with all the high executors.
Yeah, I
and
know,
the
but at
Imperium
the
in general.
right, but at
So-
the same time, what general? You have nothing wrong with
No,
the general.
no, in general.
The
Oh, in
high-
general.
high-
Okay, yeah, right.
The
that is
hierarchy
okay.
of the Imperium in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah. But at the same time, he's only asking you to wear bands that stop you from telling that he's alive
But that's
and safe. Like, it's not like he's asking you, don't report anything ever. Don't do this, don't do that. No, just don't say my name. That's literally the thing he's restricting you from.
that.
I know
just-
exactly what the bracelets
Okay,
are supposed to
just
do.
that much is awful.
Well, that's,
No, it's not really
that's Dave's
awful.
opinion.
It's awful in Daniel's opinion.
Yeah, that makes
True.
sense to Daniel, but
But at the same time, it's not that awful.
it really isn't. Like, if my character was more of a reasonable person and didn't have these problems that he has with authority and in general, he probably would have accepted already.
Meanwhile, I'm just sitting over here waiting for you guys to finally figure out what the hell y'all are gonna do, because I don't really mind either way.
Well, I didn't want to have to put it this way, but alternatively, I can feed you to the dragons.
Martin goes, oh, no, that's a good idea.
Alternatively, you could go back to your cell.
Metallic dragons.
Alternatively, you could go back to your cell.
They seem to be far more pleasant creatures.
Right. With a trusting relationship with me. And I'd say you are problematic individuals that need to be detained or murdered. Because you won't wear a goddamn wristband. Restricting my name. I'm just saying. It's not like I'm
Daniel-
ordering you to jump off the fucking cliff.
If Daniel is killed here, there will be nothing from this journey he can tell people about.
Yes.
Daniel takes the band. He can't tell them about one little thing. He
See,
accepts.
a
Why don't you
reasonable
go for the,
person.
I like to put it, the reasonable person, why don't you just let him read your mind? Then you can tell still. And
No,
then
but-
it restricts the band. The band, you don't think he would trust him? after
I
reading
know
his
he
mind?
wouldn't because
The
he just got.
instant someone goes, okay, so tell me about him, and I'll give you this knowledge. Daniel
Yeah.
will tell you everything.
Yeah,
Good point.
Daniel is for
Good
the release of knowledge, so he would still make him wear the band.
I'm perfectly fine with him reading my mind if he wants to. Like
I
I
have a
said,
serious
I don't
problem with
care
both
either
options.
way. I'm just waiting for you all to
I don't like
figure out
either
what
options
you
either. I'm fine with the mind read, though.
Who?
Mardane.
The card, obviously.
Okay. So he enters your mind, and you, I'm guessing, have sincerely had no intention of telling anyone about him.
No, Mardane doesn't.
Yeah. Okay. He trusts you. You don't have to wear the band.
See, it's not really that hard of a process. What are you
I'll do that.
giving that look for?
To be very clear, Daniel would instantly fail that test.
Yes.
Yes.
He definitely would.
There's no question.
Still would
Daniel
have to wear the
really
bracelet.
only has one option: wear the bracelet
Or
suffer.
go to the.
Two options: bracelet, or be restrained by dragons.
Yep.
I'm right with the mind option too, honestly.
Okay, so he reads her mind. Is she honest and
She
sincere?
has no intention.
Yeah. He trusts her. She doesn't wear the bracelet.
Very hard at all. No.
Over here, trusting camp.
What?
Yay! Interesting.
Oh. Over the trusted
You
camp.
have got to be kidding me.
They formed a trusted camp.
That was the most repulsive thing I've ever seen you two do.
Oh, it's good.
It was just...
Hand me the bracelet.
He gives you the bracelet.
I put it on.
So you have a hard time thinking of his name. It's not like it's not impossible, but you get the gist that if you were to try to say it, it wasn't possible. It's not possible. Like it's
This is
trying
going to be an inconvenience in conversation. Imagine getting into a political conversation talking about historical politics.
Imagine. Don't get into that conversation. Avoid
I
it
can't
like
control
the plague.
That seems problematic.
Just avoid politics for a little while.
You do know who are you?
Wait, how long does it last?
The bracelet?
Until it's
Until you take the
removed.
bracelet off, which I'm assuming you can't do willingly.
Oh, you can't. I will just know.
And what's to stop me from just taking off the moment I leave?
Won't
I
people
will
question
know.
it? Won't people question why we all got matching bracelets?
You're
Not all
a
of us.
party. This is not that odd.
Oh, so it would only be 3 of us.
I'm not wearing the bracelet. It's not happening.
So
Hand
you're
me the
going-
bracelet,
so-
would you?
So you're going to be detained.
Hand me the bracelet,
No,
would you?
if you try to detain me, you will be detained. You will find yourself back in the hell you just escaped from.
Oh.
Ah, yes. Magical, just so you know, any magical related effects will not work on me in this tower. Any, including godlike.
Well, it's simple. And it's not to affect you at all.
No,
More
you
specifically.
no, you don't understand. If, for instance, a god was to erase my freedom from ever happening, there would just be 2 of me.
Now that could... That's a surprisingly good idea, actually.
No, that's actually a very bad
Terrible
idea.
No, think about it. Think about it. Your enemies would think they still have you,
Except
I
they
am not
would wait.
using-
They would still have me.
but they wouldn't have you.
You,
They would have a different version of you.
Do you
you are
think?
sick in the head.
He's like, do you think I want to stop and torture a second version of me for longer than it already had to? No. What kind of political mastermind do you think I
I'd like
am?
to
The
point out-
Imperium?
If I
That's
was
ethically
intending to
questionable,
get
but at
you
least you'd be okay.
killed, why the hell would I have freed you in the first place?
I have no idea of your motivations of freeing me to begin with. So at that
To
point,
be honest, it's so I didn't have to deal with your visions.
what?
I saw one, and it was enough for me, it got annoying, and I didn't need to see more.
He walks into a closet. He comes
I
back.
don't know it's a closet.
This is a broom closet.
He
Oh, I
comes
know.
back. It actually looks like a closet. Like there's a bunch
I
of
see.
spare things in there.
I see.
And then he walks back out. Wear this, and your visions will stop. Otherwise, they'll continue whether we are here or not.
You've got to be kidding me.
You've gone from giving him one item which he doesn't want to giving him 2 items he doesn't want.
Well, the first one is forced on him. This, he can choose to wear it or not, but the visions will continue if he doesn't. Yeah. Whether he wants it to happen or not.
Life is a terrible thing.
Actually, I find this to be rather pleasant, thank you.
God, it's like he thinks that I'm the
This
enemy.
was a mistake.
What
You partially are.
What did I do? Besides take you away from a giant and terrible time bomb with dragons trying to eat you.
To be fair, I would never have been in that position if it weren't for you.
Well, I would
To be fair, you'd never be in that position if it weren't for you.
I'm starting to get the idea that you would never even be in existence if it wasn't for me. So I'm starting to understand.
Probably very accurate.
I'm starting to get that this is truly ungrateful.
I would consider you to be the bad guy because you're restricting knowledge in the first place. In any context.
And this is why you must wear the band. Because you're not even trustworthy enough to keep a secret ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Terrible.
There are many reasons.
I have done nothing wrong. And if you're going to point out to my political record, I would
but you have not done anything right to us.
I would point out that my record stated very clearly to be against any wars and the entire enslavement of the mandatory drafts and the sent to the wall murders fests. And do I have to continue? Which to a person who looks like an urchin like you would hate the Imperium for.
And there's a million other things, I'm certain.
Do I look like an urchin to you?
Well, your hair is
wasn't
a little
asking
unkept.
you.
Your hair is a little unkept. You're wearing... No, your robes are good.
I'm not wearing robes.
Or
Who's that? Yeah, I know your name. But I know your name. And I know your political... Well, at least where you came from.
First of all, technically I wasn't an urchin.
That's good to know.
So you were wrong there.
He just wasn't.
So then technically wouldn't that just mean was poor?
I'm actually not too sure about that.
To an extent, you weren't necessarily very well off because all of her money went somewhere.
Exactly. Just because she didn't spend very much doesn't technically mean she didn't have very much. Just saying.
Right. Yeah, I know.
I didn't know much about her except for what she showed.
I do know a lot about her.
Right, which is why I said I'm not too sure about that either.
Yeah. Either way, what is the problem with wearing a bracelet that just stops you from being able to tell someone like my enemy my name?
Actually, it's just anyone. It's
yes,
hard to even think about.
It's like you're truly annoyed that I would ever restrict you from using my name. It's not like it's your name; it's mine.
That would be hilarious, actually. Hi, I'm. Your name, but remember everything else.
Dear Lord. And if you're truly, hesitant, you can go give it to Thorax and he'll tell you it has nothing but the one enchantment on it. Now, you won't be able to say why you have that enchantment.
I never believed it had something other than that.
Then I don't understand the point, unless you were deliberately planning to actually...
You never will understand it.
Because you obviously want to say my name.
That's not the problem here.
I'm pretty sure the problem is
Do I want to state that I'm the one who freed you so that they can hang me? This sounds like an excellent idea for my future.
No, you'd be known as a war hero.
Oh, except for by your political enemies that you are already so afraid of.
I want to get the one up on them.
I was subsequently assassinated.
There's a difference between fear and wanting to totally blow them over with information they have no idea that I'm free. I can now make every move I want to make without actually...
I'm sorry, with that ruckus, you, not known as having escaped, no, they're gonna find out.
The dragons have many prisoners, some of which you would consider odd.
I would like to say they literally described you.
Hold on. Can you please?
They described my weakened form.
Chris?
Yes.
Can you please retcon that?
What?
What did he say?
I am not doing it all the way to unnatural. I won't do it.
Make him say unnatural.
I won't do it.
Something considered
He
to be
unnatural. No, that doesn't make sense, you dummy. Trying to get me
it
to
makes
freaking...
perfect sense. You just have to believe.
Oh my god.
All you had to do
It
was
sounds
believe.
but it's true.
Back to this.
Y'all are strange.
I am sorry to inform you, but you
What?
cannot leave unless you put on the bracelet. That's just the sad fact of the matter. Or, of course, allow me to investigate your mind, but I think that bugs you more, so the bracelets will need to be required here. At least for 6 months.
Daniel doesn't care if you're in his mind.
Right,
Right,
like,
but
he doesn't trust you at all, just by knowing
Yeah.
you. Now, of course, if you want to stay in the tower for 6 months, by all means. That's fine with me.
Give me
This
this.
lady right here.
So in
He gives you the
6
bracelet.
months, can we take the band?
Do you want the necklace? Because this isn't an order. He's just asking. Because you asked, because you said you had a problem with visions and you wanted them to stop.
Yes.
He gives you the necklace. Well then.
Now then, let's be on our merry way.
Right. You want to go to
Bathor.
Bathor. There's a teleportation circle to Bathor in that room over there.
And Mardane walks over there.
So do I.
Olive.
Right. So, what about guys?
Guys turns to him and goes, so I have a question.
Yes.
That does not seem like 20,000 kilometers. The 20 kilometers meant.
I thought it was 14 kilometers.
No.
It was 14 to 20.
I see.
It's actually 10 to 20, but same principle. Magic? And you want me to explain the very intricate dealings of how my ancestors put up a tower that I had no...
I just found it fascinating.
Most people do. Something about wanting to be able to see the stars clearly. I don't understand. I wasn't the person who made it.
Well, without further ado, good day.
Good. Day to you as well. Wait a minute. Did you take the bracelet? Yes, he did. Good.
Yeah, he did.
All right. Then he
Here's
proceeds.
the first one. Here's the first one to take the bracelet.
Daniel
Yeah.
did too.
Actually,
no,
Takek took
Daniel
it
was
first.
first. You're right.
Daniel was the
First
first.
of the two that were actually holding out.
Yes.
That's him.
So as you open the door, it does have Bathor there, but it has a very unique drawing. Like there is a serpent that looks like he's about to strike at the head of the symbol.
Well, now that looks... I'm sorry. Well, now that looks...
He's standing in the doorway, kind of leaning on the door. Each teleportation circle is room is automatically molded to the keepers of each city. That would be the representation of Thorax's soul.
Why, how
Accurate.
accurate.
I walk up to the
Appropriate, that was the word I was looking for. How appropriate.
And you guys all walk through?
Yeah.
All right. Daniel, you walk through?
Mm-hmm.
Like I kind of picture that what's the fighter's name?
Mardane?
Mardane is just dragging Daniel away from the tower full of knowledge, forcibly into the teleportation circle.
No, he's just following along. He figures he'll find his way back here eventually.
And
Life is like that.
as that happens, you all teleport and are in the common teleportation circle of Bathor, which is usually used by the royalty or executors and inquisitors. Generally, the general populace does not have access to these. But since you
Right,
have
so I
the
walk
road...
Quaint.
Right. I walk out of the room
Walk
and
out
start
as well.
looking for the executor.
Alright, so... Takes you... I would say... longer than expected, because he wasn't in his tower. An hour. And you find him in the town, with the townsfolk in the middle of the, one of like this general marketplace. That's what it is. It's the marketplace where all trade and stuff is.
Huzzah.
And they seem to be furious. There's like a anger to the crowd, not at him per se, but a frustration that he doesn't seem to be
Able to
They're not. He's not giving them what they want, because what you're hearing is like a jumbled mess of people screaming and
We've chosen a great time to get here.
and referring to a speech of some kind given by the Lieutenant General in regards to the Empyrean, and they're frustrated that the Thorax is not picking a side, basically.
Classic Thorax stuff.
And there we go.
Yeah.
Hate it when that happens to me.
The gist that you're getting is the crowd is, or the Lieutenant General, or basically demanded that the Empyrean rethink his decision of refusing him based on the population being on his side. Because if you do not accept when the general population believes that someone should be elected, then you don't have
to incite a coup.
Actually, I think he's trying to prevent a coup, technically, by telling him to rethink it.
No. The Empyrean's not going to rethink it.
However,
It's
there
just for him, and he knows it.
was already a reply. That's what the argument's about. That he refused to rethink and demanded that the Lieutenant General be executed for treason. Upon that, the Lieutenant General literally
He's trying to execute someone that is
beloved by the people. Yes.
not just beloved. He's taken half the tower. No, I mean wall.
Yeah.
Actually, it was at a third, I believe.
Was it a third? It was a third of the wall that we saw him.
It was a third. It was at a third. Yes. And he, the Lieutenant General, declared opposition to the Empyrean and is calling for his resignation as a response to that
Right.
execution order. And at
At
that point, he called for any executor to basically it's time to pick a side. Either we depose this Empyrean or we allow him to stay.
And it looks like Thorax is not wanting to pick a side.
Yes.
Classic thorax for you.
He is trying to persuade the crowd to stay neutral because none of the high executors have chosen yet, and it would be premature to declare for either side without knowing what the stances of the remaining 3 high executors are, because if all 3 side with the Empyrean, it would end. The rebellion would not be on the good side of power. So So he's trying.
The entire town killed.
He's trying to get them to do that, but the town is not going for it. They want the Empyrean out. They have spent 30 years of watching their sons go up against an unstoppable wall, and the moment someone takes the wall, basically, he is not given the credit he's deserved by this political power. So they're fed up. So yeah, that's
reasonable response.
Quite a problem. So he does seem to be quite busy with them, as you'd hear.
What do you guys think? Should we just go up there and interrupt him anyways?
Why not? Well, because it'd be kind of rude, wouldn't it? They're in the middle of a heated discussion, it looks like. Yes, that's why we will be rescuing him from said heated discussion. Yes, but think about the populace's side. How rude would it be for us to interrupt them?
I understand all of your grievances, but I must inform you that if we take any drastic measures at this time, you may all be in danger. Screw the danger! I want his head! We're not calling for his head, we're calling for his resignation. Same difference!
Although that might change the instant he resigns.
And just a lot of that going back and forth. It does seem that he has no intention to harm them. Like there are quite a few executors who would just disperse it without talking with them, especially with his reputation to be for sure. But he does not seem to be doing anything what his past self might have done. Or maybe the guy who was ordered to do things because he was just following.
I was gonna say.
At least he's not.
To be fair, a lot of the executions were, at least the most notable ones, were in the hierarchy.
Yes.
Not just normal everyday citizens.
Instead, he's allowing them to have that conversation, even if he's actively drifting in one direction.
Yeah, it carries on for about 45 more minutes, but until it seems like he managed to calm down the crowd enough that they would basically accept a week of neutrality, is what they said. But you have to take a stand after that. He doesn't seem happy with that request. However, that is the general consensus they made after you think maybe it was a whole day of debate there.
Wow.
Well, now that the pleasantries are over.
Interesting times.
Depends on your definition of interesting.
We do have a report.
Oh yeah, we do.
Ah, fantastic. Right this way. And he takes you into the what is it? The court house? Yes, the courthouse, where he has, of course, an office as basically the governor of this place. Right. Where the only other person who has similar authority would be the high judge, or I think it actually was the high inquisitor, which were the ranks of the people who actually divvied out laws.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel's fiddling with his bracelet. He's not trying to take it off. He's just messing with it. It's like...
Right, so... He was there. He definitely went there for sure. Without a doubt. He even gave a title. What was the title? What was the title again? Imprisoned one? Something like that.
Yes, something like that.
Why?
Yeah, that's a good question.
He wouldn't tell us that. Apparently, anyone that didn't pass the trial wasn't supposed
Yeah,
to.
didn't
I
pass the
don't remember.
trial.
What was the trial?
Well, we didn't get to that part because we had to make a running escape.
To be fair, they didn't actually tell us the trial, just that there was no way in hell we would pass it.
No, they never said we wouldn't pass it. They didn't say that we wouldn't pass it.
I just didn't remember saying that.
Did they say it would be difficult? Because to you, those things.
Yeah.
Okay, so technically, I don't know if it was in game or out of game, but it is possible it might have been in game. I did express that was a test that was considered to be hard for a high executor, and it is likely you guys would all fail.
So not impossible. No.
I think
Okay,
you
so not impossible.
coward.
And before we even got to ask about the trial, really, we had to make an escape. Apparently, one of the
To be
dragon's
fair,
prisoners released, and they were kicking up
the
a reaction trying to
head monk left.
apprehend any suspicious individuals, which we would qualify as. So we ran.
And the head monk
Well,
left.
I did. The head monk left, and I actually did attempt to ask him what the trial was. He never answered me. So we did ask. We didn't get an answer. And then the head monk was gone by the time I came back inside.
Anything else of interest to report?
No.
Nothing else of interest that I can report. No.
Okay. Well. Daniel, his glare is it's quite visible.
I'm going to answer that question. Because
If eyes could kill, he'd be murdering people.
God, you three are not subtle.
Oh, that's so
I don't say that. I'm not saying that in character. I'm saying that out of character. You
My
three are
character's not
not.
trying to be subtle.
Daniel is not trying to be subtle. if they could figure
I
out
was
what
just
they
trying
did,
to figure out
they'd be
exactly
good.
how much he can say.
I like this. This is fun.
He can say
Well-
everything that clearly states not his name.
Yeah,
It's-
basically.
Like the only real restriction, like he could say, "We freed a prisoner." He could say,
Could we
Actually,
point to him
I think
in a
we can
book
even
and
say his rank.
Hey, this guy.
Well,
This
no,
fucking
actually,
dude.
that wouldn't work because if you used, for instance,
Guys
like,
is trying to figure out exactly what he can say and what he can't. So,
all right.
that's
I'll,
what he's
I'll
doing.
tell you what happens in your head. So you let, for instance, you think a high executor prisoner. It's starting to get blurry because doing that, there was only 4 high executors. That leads it too easily to who that might have been. So you can't do that. But when you
But
think
say
executor prisoner was released, that works. If you say
But
you did
can
a
I-
prisoner.
Alternatively, can I think a high-ranking member of the Imperium?
No. You can say a
Well, you
very
can't tell-
respected individual in the Imperium.
You are planning to tell him? I wasn't planning on telling him anything. And you're trying to find ways to tell him? Oh,
No,
terrible
Guys
person.
is trying to. Guys has already said everything which he's
Right.
Alternatively, you can
he did say
say
nothing I can report. That's,
Right, like
that's
a-
everything.
like a high influential person in the Imperium was freed. That works because that's like politicians. That's like bankers, high level people. There's enough of them that it would be vague. It would be odd that they were held captive by dragons, but who knows why?
Well, we've succeeded in your task. I'm assuming you have another one.
Do I? What an interesting question. Of course I do.
Could I say enemy of the Imperium?
Yes. At this point, there's so many that would easily slip by.
Yeah.
So I know a way in which I could basically narrow it down to just being him.
Could we say
Yes, you could
there's
do that.
There's an enemy of the Imperium, and he put me in this. I can't get it off.
Yes, you can.
I know.
Yeah, actually, you can say that.
You see,
No,
I figured out
no.
a way to easily narrow
Well,
it down to
we know
him
we said
with the
that.
vague entries.
Would you know? No. Based on what you know about that bracelet, no, he wouldn't know.
Okay. Also, I'm not sure. Did you answer when I said, could we just point at him in a book?
No.
Oh,
Oh, actually, yes. That is a loophole that
My
would work.
specialty.
That is a loophole that would work.
Show me a book of the executors and up. That guy was free. No, I didn't actually do that.
Just so you know,
Now Daniel
technically
wants to
he
tell
can't
this
do that.
guy.
Daniel should
about-
do whatever he wants to do.
Now Daniel wants to do this out of spite, pretty much.
Well, you can do it out of spite.
We do have another thing to report.
No, we don't.
And what is that, Daniel?
Martin looks at Daniel.
He is lying.
Goes, son.
What did you say? What did you say?
He goes, son.
Oh, he's lying. Okay.
I said, he is lying, and he has a fair reason to. What?
Daniel, I will inform you right now.
Wait, who did you say he?
Just shut your mouth.
He's probably referring to Nareld.
Yeah, when I said there's nothing else that we actually have to report.
Ha!
Mardane.
You
You are an idiot.
That's
This
just
is not the first time that Daniel had been called an idiot.
obviously. And
this exact
do you
reason.
carry forward?
Yes.
So what are you asking for?
Can I see a list of the executors from what point?
Or
just
How
just
about
all of the
current?
executors?
Or like all the why?
Yeah.
I recommend you stop.
Why?
Please, just show me a list of the executors.
He pulls out a drawer. Here are current
Oh, no.
active executors.
I take the book.
No, it wasn't a book. It was a list.
I take the list.
And he handed it directly to Daniel.
I
What
attempt
do you-
to take it out of his hand before he does anything with it.
If that would be all,
Roll dex.
he walks out.
1 second.
Am I rolling that?
No.
Leave before I get in trouble. I turn and I walk away.
Ha! That's terrible. 12?
Coward.
He slaps
Yeah,
your
no.
hand.
Daniel did not say that out loud.
And
Can I find his name in the list?
Daniel,
There
when
are
this gets you
those are-
killed,
okay,
you have
there-
no one...
there are
You have no
names
one to blame
and
but yourself.
small images.
Daniel,
Can
when
I
this gets
find
you...
him?
Well,
When you-
easily.
when
This
this
is
gets
how
you
it
killed.
goes. Empyrean. High Executor, give me a second. Okay, High Executor, High Executor Damien Dollahas, which Nick saw a glimpse of. It's the bastard who burned your mom.
Yeah, I know.
High Executor Cassius Valarius, High Executor Septimus Valarius, and the High Executor Tiberius Lotharius.
All those Aureus.
Yeah, man.
So many of them.
Those Ariuses, they're pretty good.
Yeah, we encountered this guy.
He's he's very calm. He's a very normal individual who actually keeps most of his expressions very impossible. His face goes completely white. Pale as pale can be.
And if it weren't for this bracelet and the power of flex tape, I would be able to say his name.
Aha. And I will be very frank. If you speak a word of this to another soul, I will rip out your heart and throw it into the deepest, darkest pits.
Martin just looks at the executor and goes, "You might as well do it right now."
Why is everyone here?
He is going to say something to someone.
Why is everyone here like this?
Is that what Daniel asks?
That is what he says, but it's
Okay.
rhetorical.
Now he looks
Obviously
at you because if you're not a wise man, you would have looked up who your mentor was. I serve High Executor Septimus Valarius, his direct
Yes.
son, which means if you tell anyone of his, well, being alive and found, my position becomes a lot worse.
Okay, whatever, buddy.
Specifically,
Hold on. Whatever, mate. Just... I won't speak of it.
no, you won't point at it. You won't do what you just did to me to another soul.
Yes,
The other way of determining, of letting someone else know that he's
I only felt the particular
okay.
need. I only felt the particular need to tell you.
Great. Good job. Don't tell another soul.
Don't share this information with anyone else, in other words.
Can't believe this.
In any way, shape, or form.
That's just going to make him do it. Don't tell him not to do it, or he'll do it.
Who else left with me? Like, I know I left,
No.
and there was somebody else who left. Was it, you?
That's not how it works.
I left.
Did Gaius leave as well, or no?
By
Guys,
the
my
way,
first.
okay.
So,
By the
I
way,
was- yeah, so-
Mardane, you see a slight movement of his hand, and it seems like there's an enchantment that was put onto the bracelet that was just added.
Dude, like, I go up to Gaius, I'm like, he was too lax on his, secret keeping. It's quite embarrassing.
He was pretty honest.
Such
He didn't
a
want to.
loophole, such...
He didn't want
An
to restrict
easy
you
loophole.
too much. He was being honest that he was trying to be kind and not, the tyrant
Yeah,
you guys made him out to be.
He chose not to be too kind to the one person that he truly did trust.
To be perfectly clear, Daniel can and will talk about this if asked. If it comes up in conversation.
Right.
Exactly.
But he's not saying that he will.
But of course, how would he know that? He didn't actually read your mind.
Exactly.
Right.
That's why I was just saying that out of character.
Right.
He can and will. He can and will.
So, besides that, I would like you to go give your new mission to the individuals who smartly refused to have any part in that report.
Hey, I tried to stop that report.
Yeah, that's true.
Was he right to try to stop that report?
To an extent, yes. Because I am one
You're
of
slapping my
the
hand, don't you?
I am one of
I'm just
the
saying,
individuals who once know something can't stop but moving chest pieces.
you see, I'm just saying, it's very simple. Think about it this way. You see, we have big fish here, but you could very well have upset even bigger fish.
Wait, hold on. Knowing things makes you want to play chess?
No
It
offense.
fuels your chess addiction?
Executor.
Daniel, do you not
Has
understand?
no sense of politics at all.
Do you not understand the metaphor, Daniel? It's when you figuratively
I think
play
it's-
chess in politics.
I think it's actually picking apart the language you speak.
You would be my part. Actually, the group would be more like a bishop that I'm moving for my political gains.
Oh, what? Not bad, actually.
Just to help clarify for Nerald,
Narald is not in there.
I like Daniel. Daniel says that.
okay, out of character is worth noting for what Nerald has said in the past. You are absolutely being directly controlled by this man.
What?
You are being directly controlled by the man.
I don't understand what you're saying. Are you
It's
saying
chess.
right? But he has the ability to leave, is what he stated. He's here because he chooses to be.
The bishop can just leave.
Yes, you can just walk off the table.
Technically, the
But
thing
see,
is,
the thing is, he's not a bishop on his own. He's part of the group and the group is the bishop. We will still be a bishop without him.
You ever play in chess in like a fourth?
Yeah, we won't necessarily make such a
We
big
played
move
chess,
without
like,
him.
took off the head of the bishop.
Now-
Fourth of your bishop
yeah.
just disappears.
after taking out like
Guess
6
that guy went on
pieces.
to bigger and better things.
All right,
That
so
fourth of a bishop just had to go do something else. He wasn't having
A fifth.
it.
it is a
Sorry.
is the fifth. So, what are you guys planning? What's your next move?
We were supposed to get a mission that
Oh,
those
right!
two were supposed to inform us about.
I need
Who
you
left?
to go secure a diplomat from the Isles of Tyranny in the Lawless Sea.
Narelle would like to come back. 'Cause He
Fascinating.
actually had a question for Thorax that I just remembered.
By the way, Daniel, roll history. Daniel, you roll in history?
Oh. I love my rolls.
Nat.
Oh my.
You know, that is an insane amount. So, the Isles of Tyranny is widely recognized as the worst place in all of the continent of Ventia. It is terrible.
Continental area.
You never know it by its name though. You'd never know it.
It is filled with cesspits of scum and villainy. Or if you didn't roll a natural
Mos Eisley.
20, that's all you would know. But you rolled a natural 20 that went above freaking 25. So in reality, that is the disguise the inhabitants put up on purpose, because it's actually a very, very kind place to anyone who lives inside it and who are friendly to their trading ports. But to those on the outside, they kill and murder, because the resources they guard here is a very powerful magical crystal that they do not want others to know about, which technically you should know about, but somehow you found a book somewhere in the ancient text somewhere ever
It was an ancient 1,000-year-old book.
with your
Just happy to inform you of such things.
and based on the knowledge that you have, it's actually out of all the places you'd want to be born, that's the best place to be born. Is there.
How many places do I want to be born?
It's the nicest place. It's the place with the most
Then I can move there.
you can't, because they don't allow outsiders to move there easily.
That's why it specifically states born there rather than necessarily live there. Although
Now,
technically-
It's not
That right
impossible.
there,
It's
just
not
unlikely.
impossible, but you'd have to earn some serious trust with the inhabitants. Because that
That's
secret
easy.
is very hard to
I'm
do.
trustworthy.
Yeah, trustworthy.
Right, so I
That's
I
cute.
came back in, right?
Yes.
Right outside the door. I checked the deck. Does it have any new cards in it?
It seems to be forming something.
Yeah, now I go in. Executive Thorax, I have a question.
Yes.
So, I actually don't have the ability to identify this item, and I'm just very curious on what it actually is.
What?
I have a general. I take out the deck. General idea, but
It's just this thing in which you keep saying I came out of a card from.
oh yes,
And you want me to identify it. Okay, place it here.
put it down.
He starts waving some signs, and apparently his basic identify isn't working. Of course. This shows the limitations of
natural.
my magical ability. And he pulls out what looks to be a magnifying glass. Right. The deck of uncommon morality. Where did you find this? Where did you find this?
Well, considering I appeared in a certain tower in a certain area,
Now, just so
they
you
probably found
know,
it in that certain tower.
the problem is the effects are question mark. But whoever built this?
Didn't you build that?
No. Well, he destroyed that, yes. But the deck is who built the deck because it says question mark. That's not how you build a text.
I'm not actually positive who made the deck. I just know where I found it, so I take it back.
Whoever.
Although having the name of it kind of actually makes me a little bit more worried about using it again. Because it's possible that the first round of cards were great, but the second one could be way worse.
Now you see why I was hesitant
Based
to even
on
do the first
the
time.
name morality, I would put the assumption, but though it is only an assumption.
Right.
Let's see how much he actually gleans. Shit. Actually, never mind. That's a very bad assumption. I shouldn't actually tell you because I don't understand it. Question mark.
Lovely. Maybe I should get Daniel to draw the first card next time. I want.
Maybe it'll silence him.
Maybe.
The
We can
diplomat
only
you
hope.
are looking for.
Oh, my character just totally forgot that you were giving a quest.
Yeah, right, you weren't there when it started. The diplomat you're
Yeah, I
looking
know,
for
so-
is Lanissa Lotharius. Supposedly, she died. However, I believe that she is alive in the Isles of Tyranny. She is the first
The
daughter
irony-
born. The first daughter born after he returned from the dragons.
Oh man, it's so ironic.
Supposedly
forget,
died in
please.
her infancy. I believe that's just a lie.
How the heck is she a politician? Is
No, she's a diplomat in the Isles of Tyranny.
right, but if she died in her infancy, how did she become a diplomat? If she's a child, like a baby.
The Empyrean was 34 when he took office.
Dude, I'm not there.
Yeah, you are.
No, he
I'm
walked
not.
out.
I
Oh.
walked out right after
Oh.
you finished identifying the item.
Oh.
Because he did. He
The
didn't even
Imperium,
think
just to
about
give you an idea, the Imperium was 34 when he took office. He had this child 2 years after, and it's been 28
Mhm.
years.
Right, but she's supposedly died in her infancy, which means she died as a child.
Ghost aid.
Yes.
And he believes that's a lie.
However, he believes it's a lie. And
So
She's a
it's a
diplomat.
secret diplomat. I see.
No. It's not a diplomat from the Empyrean to the Isles. It's the Isles' diplomat to somewhere else. Like someone abducted that princess
Oh, I see.
and
Probably
raised
put
her
a
on
fake
the
corpse
Isles.
there.
Yep.
I see. Interesting.
that's
He wants us to
Lanicia
kidnap her
Lotharius.
back?
Yes, Lanissa Lotharius.
He wants us to kidnap her back.
No,
That
he
sounds
wants
like
you
a
to
great idea.
escort her.
He actually specifically said secure, so I
Yes.
mean, that could go any way. That could literally be kidnapping her back.
It
depending-
So, any more details on what we're supposed to do here?
You'll,
Are we supposed to meet the diplomat, then
You will find her in the Isles of Tyranny. I shall restate my order. Find out if she truly is the daughter of Lotharius.
understood?
and then bring her back to me. I have a very unique question.
Question. Is lethal force
No.
authorized?
Unless it's
Okay,
on
so
anyone
Kate-
who detained is trying to stop you, then lethal force is authorized.
And what if
What?
she tries to stop us?
We can't
No,
do
you
those
can't.
things
You
on
can't.
the person
No,
with
you
this
can't kill her. I need her alive.
thing. Oh
is
man,
pretty
the fact that
basic
I'm not
stuff.
there, I'm like, oh god.
But you can kill anyone else.
Gotcha.
Just
Lethal
realize
force is not allowed, except for
you are
when
not to
anybody
wear
wants
the
stop you,
Empyrean
then-
robes on this journey. We do not need it coming back to us.
Well, convenient. I wear chainmail.
What do we wear then?
Well, you would just wear a robe.
Oh right, I have.
Morgaine goes and finds the other three,
Okay. Wait.
and then tells them everything.
Okay.
Wait a minute. So, did you tell everything exactly how it was told?
No, he said the way he says it is, we are to find
The diplomat.
a diplomat, determine if she is the Lotharius daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Then, if she is, we are to bring her back here, and we may kill anyone who tries to stop us, with the exception of her.
Well, of course. There's no point in getting somebody back here if you're planning to kill them.
What exactly?
You can bring back a corpse, and then you can get and then you can resurrect it. Just saying.
What
Wait a minute, can we resurrect in this world?
It is considered almost impossible feat.
So, no.
You would need
Okay.
What exactly
the three
are
things
we-
you need is a high cleric, so something maybe above the age of above 15. Then you would need level 15, not age of 15. I fixed it. I did. I fixed it. There is
Someone over
that.
the age of
We already
15.
have a cleric above the age of 15. We got that secured.
And you also would need an elder dragon to bless the ritual. And finally, you'd need a bone of some ancient avatar of a god.
Oh.
So it's
Do
entirely
you know where the
possible.
Tarask is laying?
What?
No, the
What
Tarask is a
exact-
creation of
I
the
know,
god,
I know,
not an
I know, it's
avatar.
not, I know, I'm well aware.
What
An
exactly
avatar
are-
would basically be the High Empyrean if you took his bone. You could use it. He's said to be an avatar of the god of wizards. Daniel.
What exactly are we meant to do if she tries to kill us? So,
You knock her out.
Knock her out?
Knock her out.
Like, do you not know how the kidnapping business works?
because that has always worked and will always work in every situation.
I find
this
it
is
works
why, this is
brilliantly.
why if things get violent, we're sending you in first. The most expendable of our crew.
So I can kill?
Wonderful.
So everyone's so good on potions. I don't think we use much of any of them.
Just
I do believe so.
remember, keep your mouth shut.
And your eyes open.
Always.
So how are we going to make our ways about getting to said?
Well, first we have to change. We need a change of wardrobe for all of us.
One second. Guys just takes off the robes.
You don't
Wardrobe
think-
done.
Aren't you wearing the Imperium chain as well?
No, Geist is not wearing any flag on his half plate. That's why he wears the robes over them.
Okay, well, then we need a change for some of us.
Which they obviously go by whatever types of clothes they'd want.
I go for some normal garb.
I remain in
Not armor or anything.
cleric-esque robes, but I do make sure they're not,
Flying the Imperium colors.
flagged in any way, shape, or form.
And Daniel, well, he obviously picks up a robe of some kind.
That makes him look intelligible.
Yeah, because he likes his.
Intelligible?
Or the other I word, which we keep calling him.
He.
Intelligent?
Intelligible is the incorrect word.
Good.
Hold on.
An intellectual, that's what it
Hold
was.
on. I think it is fair to say that he's not usually intelligible because he is British.
Oh no! No!
Did you just say that?
Oh no!
Lovely.
Oh, that's terrible.
You have done it
Okay.
now.
Wow.
Just like to say that what Alex says, most of the rest of us don't believe.
There's no way he believes that, dude.
Okay, anyway, back to Dungeons and Dragons.
Do you think I was saying British people are stupid or that I
That's
was making fun of
exactly
their
what you
accent?
No,
literally stated.
no.
I was making fun of their accent.
What he said was you can't understand them.
Yes,
Unintelligible.
You're right.
that is how you use that word. But that being said, so you gather all the the rations you guys want, and you get your new sets of clothes, which I'd say it costs you maybe 1 gold piece each when you get your new stuff.
So, before we go on to this next journey, do we want to do another test?
I think we should wait a little bit longer, get a little bit more.
Fine with me. Just a question.
Like, I still remember the fact that we nearly kicked the bucket the last one.
No, we
Not the
didn't.
last one, the one before.
I was like, no, we did not.
The last
one we did
combat
a single
one.
bit of damage. This is
We nearly
gonna be a
kicked the
combat
bucket
one.
last combat one.
This is going to be a combat one. Also, we were a lot weaker then. And,
Yes. And it will be more powerful next time.
And we didn't have a fifth member.
And I am very much of use.
As a great meat shield.
That's just they can hit me.
So how do you put? So you're going to take the horse on the boat?
Totally legitimate thing to do.
That poor horse.
It's not legitimate at all. It is not a place for horses.
Actually, you would put horses inside the hold.
No,
Some-
the
some-
aisles
If you
are
transport it.
bad for the
Oh
horse.
no!
Isn't everywhere
That's
bad
entirely
for
different.
horses?
And
The world
you
is not
the
made
comment
for
about
horses.
putting the horse on the boat. That's a perfectly legitimate thing to
Well, when
do.
you're talking about putting it on the boat for maybe 2 weeks or something, but if you're talking about a 3-month journey, that's asking a lot for a horse to stick inside a boat.
So what you do is you would go from port to port,
Or you just
To
wouldn't put the horse
or you
in
didn't bring the horse along because
Yeah,
the Isles of Tyranny is not a good place for horses.
that's a better option. Yeah.
So why would you bring the horse?
How was I supposed to know? Do you think I look for every single terrain that is best for horses? Because I'm constant. I've dealt with my horse problem. I don't need a horse anymore. We've got the carpet.
Well, let me tell you, the Isles of Tyranny is either mountains or forests, or both.
It's both.
Certain
Mountain
areas are
forest.
differing.
Or foresty mountains. That's just a better way to say it. Foresty mountains. Well, guess we need to get to a port, don't we?
Oh yes.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Where's the
Oh dear.
Oh my lord.
Oh
That
my
is
word.
quite
Alternatively,
a way. That is quite far.
alternatively, we could fly.
Are you insane?
Always have been.
Where, out of curiosity, where are we gonna fly through the mountains?
No. Just first fly down,
To the coast.
then fly to the island below it, then fly from there to
To
the
the-
next
To
island.
the Xanthari Empire.
Yes.
You want to go to another foreign country?
Then fly into the Dominion. Then fly into the Dominion. Then fly
You want to go
into
to
the
3 countries, one of which we are currently at war with.
Yeah, they don't. That doesn't concern us.
It does. They do not allow humans in their border.
They will. I have a certain medallion that would say otherwise.
Oh, you're right.
Shoot, I totally forgot about that. This makes this plan a whole lot more reasonable. Like, so much more reasonable.
But no, we wouldn't want to fly through the mountains. That'd be stupid.
So you want to? All right. The problem is, how long would it take us to fly? Like, we'd have to fly constantly.
Why are you
Well, yes.
suggesting we go south and east? Why not just go diagonally?
The reason, because
Because that would take us to the mountains.
the mountains and
The
dragons.
dragons are going to be even more mad right now. It's going to be so much more chaotic at the moment. That sounds like a great recipe for death.
Hey, once we do get going, should we have the break?
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, we should take a
Yep.
break soon.
So
We'll do it when we
that's
actually
what we're
start
going to
it.
do. We're going to take a small 15-minute break while people get rested up, all that stuff. Fix some technical
Good timing.
difficulties,
That'll never be fixed.
and then we'll be right back.
Did they ever get the Ethernet? Did it not work?